Hello, how's everyone going? Hi. So it's great to be here today. I just wanted to drop in and talk a little bit about stress. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Naomi Judge. I'm a naturopath and nutritionist. And my focus and my passion is women's health and hormones, how hormones, stress, and thyroid, how that lovely dance happens, and how one of them may affect others. And today we're going to talk a little bit about stress and how we can recover from stress, but particularly how men and women are different. And this is the crux of it, and this is why it is so important to not do a blanket diagnosis, not do a blanket plan for everyone, because men and women recover from stress, and stress actually does different things to their bodies. So for women, we are lucky enough to have higher oxytocin levels and higher estrogen levels. Now, some may say, well, that makes you the weaker sex when it comes to dealing with stressful situations. You don't have the high testosterone to deal with that, so it makes you weaker. But far from that, having higher oxytocin and higher estrogen actually makes us so well adapted to deal with stress. We just have to deal with it in the right way. So some of the mistakes that happen are that women try, especially in the workplace, women really try and mirror men in terms of how to go about their daily routine and how to recover from stress. You know, maybe they do intense exercise, maybe they get a bit fiery at work, but this actually can compound it. So what women need to do is really honor their hormonal makeup and use the hormones to their advantage. So use that beautiful oxytocin. Oxytocin is that kind of loving hormone. It makes you happy, it makes you love people around you, it makes you very level-headed. Estrogen, again, it's a hormone that when it's nicely balanced, it can help protect you from stress, it can protect your heart, it helps with ovulation, fertility, and that kind of thing. So what women need to do is they really need to honor that what our makeup means is that we are more effective in a kind of a tend and befriend kind of capacity. So rather going into that fight or flight kind of reaction that we've been told that is a normal stress reaction over the year, that fight or flight, we're better going into this beautiful reaction which is called tend and befriend. It's kind of, and it makes sense. It really makes sense when you think about women in the workplace, women that you might know, that they like to get together, they like to chat out problems, talk a lot, talk about problems. And again, this shows the difference between men and women, how men don't talk so much. Men might retreat, men might become a lone wolf, and women just love to talk. And this can actually be an issue for partners, for husbands and wives in the home place and even in the workplace. You know, women may want to talk about things, whereas men really don't want to start to express their feelings, and that's just because they can do better going into themselves, just being alone, having alone time, whereas women need to really get it out. So this is why it's important to have structures in place and know what you need to help with stress, and also know that retreating isn't the best reaction for women. So you may see your male counterparts retreating and stress turns them into the lone wolf, but as a woman it is much better to be in groups, to have your friends, to go for coffee and that kind of thing. So when it comes to stress, and if you are overly stressed, you know, you've got all the things like meditation, yoga, and all of those things in terms of dealing with stress, but it's really important that you socialize. And so my 5 habits really revolve around that. And these are just habits that I would really recommend women start implementing in their daily life, in your daily life, to help with stress, because you will notice that it really helps. And I mean, I think this is one of the important things, and I think this is why social media is so big as well, because people start to feel connected, and feeling connected helps with the oxytocin. Hi Jamie, how are you going? Nice to have you here. If you've got any questions, just pop it up. Having high oxytocin levels and making connection makes people happy. Look, just Jamie saying hello made me feel happy. It's nice that we kind of, you know, can connect in that way, and it really does help. So one of the first habits is definitely making that connection, and it can be really difficult in your daily life. You might have kids and you're popping your kids off to school, so it's rush. Then you get in the car, you take your kids, you drop them off. Then it's rushing to somewhere else, maybe rushing to the supermarket, being in a queue in the supermarket and getting annoyed, getting angry, frustrated because you just want it to go faster and faster. So you can go through the whole day without actually really making any connections. Rushing through the whole day. Hi Cheryl, how are you? Oh, excellent. I'm glad. If you've got any questions, I'm talking about just habits, for particularly, mainly for women. This is for women today. So making a connection. So the first one is actually making a connection. Make a connection with somebody in the day, whether it's making a connection with the person at the petrol station, making a connection with the barista who makes your coffee. Ask a question. How was your weekend? How was your day? Are you busy? Ask a question, really mean it and make that connection. Get that eye contact. That eye contact is huge for women. We need that eye contact. It really helps us gauge and make trust in the other person, and when there's trust, that helps with the oxytocin, and the aim here is to get that oxytocin higher, because the higher our oxytocin, the more better we are able to deal with stress, and it helps to relieve that cortisol and balance out the cortisol, bring it down a little bit. So the first thing is make that connection, and I would just say you just make that as your daily challenge. One person in the day you make a connection with, whether it's a stranger on the street, someone in a shop. Then it's being open. So when we get stressed, we tend to go into ourselves and we can be less open. Some people are great in terms of being open, but others really, the stress causes us to clam up. It causes us not to want to be open about things, particularly if they're stressful. So I encourage you to be open with your feelings through the day. The more you're open, the more your hormones again will start to balance out. Being open again encourages oxytocin. It encourages oxytocin to raise. And that's the aim here. We want oxytocin to raise. Oxytocin makes you feel connected with the world. It makes you feel like you're meant to be here. You know, sometimes you might have those days where you're like, oh, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? What am I doing here? Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Am I happy? All of those questions stem from the stress, which make you feel out of balance due to that low oxytocin. So the aim here is to get that high. So my second habit is the being open. So really being open and honest. And so I set myself a challenge each day to actually make sure I am very honest with people on a daily. And when I talk about people, I'm talking about my husband, I'm talking about my friends, to really make sure there's not even one little white lie in there, like you might be late for something, and so you may have been late because you got caught up on social media, but you might say, oh, the traffic was so bad, or something happened, or you had a coffee date with a friend, and if you've got kids you might say, oh, I can't make it because of this reason. Be honest and be open, because that honest openness will again create this trust connection, and it will help you to help your oxytocin get a bit higher. So that's why we're doing that. So sometimes that can be hard because we don't want to hurt people's feelings, but being open and honest is a stress relieving tactic, particularly for women. It's a great stress relieving tactic. The third one is living with gratitude, and I know there's a lot of talk about gratitude, but again, it really does help with the endorphins. So again, gratitude is an easy one to do, but also it's hard at the same time. So with gratitude, it's not necessarily just writing down, I'm grateful that it was hot today, I'm grateful that I had a nice sandwich. When you're grateful, you've got to really feel it. And this is what I try and explain to some of my clients. When you feel it, you kind of feel at peace all over. There's this beautiful serenity that comes over you. You feel it in the heart. Gratitude you feel in your heart. You don't think it in the head, you really feel it in the heart. And it's like one of those days, the best way I can explain it is, I remember sometimes when you're walking, and it's a beautiful summer day and you're walking, and you just notice that for me, that smell of the bush flowers, the scrub, the bush scrub on a warm day. There's a particular walk I do, and that smell just, whoa, it just, the gratitude kind of hits me over the head. I sense it. It's a sensing, and that's where you want to get. So when you're grateful for something, just have one thing a day. When you're grateful, really feel it. Really go back to that moment where you remember you were so serene, at peace, and just so happy, and really take yourself back there, because that's when you teach yourself to do that more and more. That's a great way to reduce stress. So that's my third one. I'm just trying to remember all the that's my third one. I'm trying to remember which number I was at. And the fourth one is befriending. So a woman's natural instinct for, in a stressful situation, is called what's called tend and befriend. So a male's natural instinct is fight or flight. So a male natural instinct will be, do I fight the beast or do we run? That's what they decide. The testosterone goes high, cortisol goes high, it's fight or it's flight. With women, our oxytocin goes high and our estrogen goes high. And that means for us, our natural stress instinct is tend or befriend, which is beautiful. Tend or befriend is so beautiful. And what tend or befriend is we should befriend those around us, so we're better in groups. If we're in an office environment, if we're in a work environment, really collaborate with your female workers, collaborate with your counterparts, the female ones. Don't look at them as intimidating, or don't get stressed about the women around you. Really collaborate, because that's where your stress in your workplace, you can reduce that. If you know any groups, if you're in your mum's group, mums and bubs group, that kind of thing, start getting into groups and befriending and collaborating. Hi Veronica, how are you? Nice to see you here. This is actually on this should be the Breakthrough Plus. I can't get the Facebook Live on the Breakthrough Plus membership site at the moment, so I'm just on my page at the moment. For some reason it won't work on the member sites, but if you've got any questions, just pop them up, feel free. So collaborating with other women really helps to reduce stress, and befriending. So if you're going to group situations, if you're going to dinners, if you're going to that kind of thing, really befriending, not feeling intimidated, not feeling snipey, not feeling bitchy towards other women, really trying to befriend, because ultimately that's going to help you in the stressful situation. And then tending. So tend and befriend go together, and it's a beautiful stress response. Tending is helping others. So making sure you're actually helping others, helping yourself, and then also helping others. So whether it's charity work, whether it's helping animals, whether it's helping family members, a grandmother, a mother-in-law, that kind of thing, or whether it's working somewhere voluntary, really helping, because that tending is a great way to reduce stress and get that oxytocin level higher. So the tend and befriend response, it's really important for you to remember that, and actually every time you get stressed or you go through an extremely stressful situation, sometimes when we get stressed, we want to just retreat, but take yourself back to that and just remember that feeling, tend and befriend, So when you get stressed, put yourself out there, talk openly to people about it, catch up for coffee dates, call a friend, call a girlfriend that maybe you haven't spoken to in a while, help somebody out, do something for somebody else. And that way, what you're going to do is you're going to keep your oxytocin levels nice and high, and you'll be able to bring those cortisol levels down. So we've got tend and befriend, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing, making a connection. We've got gratitude, and then we've got being open. So all of those are just beautiful habits. I think that it's great for women to know that if they bring these into their daily life, it's really going to help with your stress response. We've been kind of indoctrinated to think that we should be having the fight or flight response, and so we're actually kind of clashing. Our hormones are clashing. We think we should be going in the fight or flight, but really we should be going the other way in the tend or befriend. So just keep remembering that every time you get stressed, and particularly in the workplace, because I know the corporate workplace can be such a stressful place. And just allow, if you're a manager, allow your female co-workers the people that work for you, allow them to go for a little break and have a chat, because that's what they need. That's what they need to just help with their stress in the workplace, and it will just help to level out those hormones. So those are my 5 tips, my 5 habits that women really should start implementing on a daily basis to help with those stress levels. And if there's any questions, let me know. It's just a really short one today on my 5 habits of helping reduce cortisol and raising oxytocin in women. So thanks guys, thanks Jamie, thanks Cheryl, and thanks Veronica. I know the Tend and Befriend, Jamie, the Tend and Befriend motto is actually really beautiful. And what I notice with myself, isn't it funny? I notice with myself, when I get to that really stressed phase, I want to, I kind of want to retreat, stay in a little bit more. I maybe don't want to catch up. But then you find when you do catch up, you catch up with your friends, or you have a phone call with somebody, you actually feel so much better. And so it's just good to remember that. It's good to remember, yeah, that when that even though you might not feel like it, you might not feel like seeing your friends, or you might not feel, it might feel like a hassle, or going out meeting my friends, but once you're out, oh, the impact it has on your health is just fantastic. And that's why I know some of you do also live live quite far away from communities or big communities. And so in that case, it's really good to have either a close knit around you. And I think that's where social media comes in handy. Phoning is a good thing to do. I set myself a challenge as well, which is a great challenge to do. Yeah, no, that's fine, Jamie. I set myself a challenge of calling someone I haven't spoken to for a long time. So, if I haven't spoken to someone for a year, I just call them up. And I think calling is so much better than texting. I'm not a fan of texting. I like calling. Yeah, so yeah, Cheryl, I'm exactly the same. I know, I just kind of retreat, and then it gets worse. You think it's better, but it's just one of those things. Once if you ever feel yourself retreating, just pick up that phone and call somebody, because that talking makes a whole load of difference. It just brings you out of that, and it will change your the hormonal balance as well straight away. Yeah, exactly, Veronica. I mean, talking, giving. Some people can overtend, actually, so I would like to make that point. Some people can overtend. Especially if you're looking after family members that may need you looking after them full time. Maybe you've got a disabled child, that kind of thing. So that can be very stressful. So in that case of tending, you then need to get away and do a lot for yourself. But if you're not in that situation, then it really is good to give to others, and just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just helping others, that helps so much for your endorphins, and just gives you a bit of a purpose as well. It's so nice to have you ladies on the live today, and I'm fingers crossed for Breakthrough Plus. I've got it working, so we can do some cool Q&As next week, but it's just not working on that one at the moment. So thank you, thanks Veronica, thanks Cheryl, thanks Jamie, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll chat to you all soon. Now another question, overtending. If you overtend, you need to go and find some you time, Jamie. Yeah, if you're overtending, you've got to go and you're compensating, so you need to go and do something for yourself. Don't overcompensate, because sometimes that can get stressful as well. So if you're overtending, take a step back, go and book yourself into a massage, or book yourself into something nice, or make sure you've got an hour a week or something that's just you time, and you're not thinking about anyone else or anything. You need to be present for you. Definitely, Jamie. Thank you, Cheryl. Talk to you all soon. Bye.